What's up, people? Back with another reaction, back with some more of The Police, and we're back with the final tune on Ghost in the Machine, 1981. Big thanks to Lori once again. And the track is called Darkness. It's a simple enough word. I would point out it's a reification, meaning when you take an attribute of a noun and then turn that into a noun in of itself, you have reified the word. And I try to avoid such words because ontologically speaking, they're a bit nebulous. Darkness does not exist in the way that a dark room does, or a dark painting. And it's the same for other words that have the suffix ness. I think that's one of the telltale signals that you're looking at a reified word. Nevertheless, it is a common word. It is a word used all the time. So whether we're talking darkness as in an absence of light, or darkness as in an absence of ethics or morality, or a psychological darkness as opposed to a bright, happy feeling, perhaps they all might be relevant, but perhaps none of them will. Let's find out. This is The Police, the track is Darkness, and it's the last tune on their 1981 album, Ghost in the Machine. Dark psychology. I appreciate the long fade. I am trying to think of all the things, because sometimes I get to the end of a song and then it's like, oh crap, what was I thinking at the beginning? But it was a shorter one, so I think I have most of my thoughts ready to discuss. When he mentioned he could think of schemes when he's sitting there, it's like, oh, that sounds like a moral darkness, the idea of plotting and maybe scheming in a way that will exploit or take advantage of other people's ignorance or their vulnerability or their willingness to take other people at face value. But then when he's saying he wishes he never woke up this morning, that sounds like psychological darkness. At first I thought he was saying love was easy when it was boring, but then I thought, and I'm more confident in him saying life was easy when it's boring. But then when more things, people, connections, responsibilities, when they pile up, perhaps life gets more complicated, and then it is less fun, it is less light and bright. So I felt like, oh, maybe it is a psychological darkness. And then it sounds like we hear thunderclaps, and again, dark skies, clouds in the sky, and that is often used as a metaphor for troubling thoughts, the world looking like a scary, dangerous place. So I feel like it was maybe playing on different types of darkness. But yeah, the essence of it seemed to be that, what was it? I can't see the floor until I stand. So it's maybe this feeling of being not in control of what's happening and not being comfortable with what's happening, but being largely unable to stop it. And, if you don't want to wake up but you do, you're a victim, a slave to your biological nature, even if your mind would like to just hide in the refuge of sleep. So it felt like a very dark tune in multiple ways. It felt much less like a Police track in the Sonics than many of the others I've heard. It didn't sound like a rock reggae tune. It didn't have that catchy sort of sound like, Don't Stand So Close to Me or something. It felt like a very brooding, heavy tune, but still with a bit of shine on it. There was a couple guitar moments that had a bit of a almost like ambient guitar type of feel. There was more, it wasn't really an instrumental interlude, but there was the cycling quality of the parts where Sting wasn't singing felt very cinematic, almost like atmospheric. So yeah, a less common tune from them as I've come to understand their wheelhouse or their typical mode. So a really interesting way to end the album. A long fade that it's, when I've talked about fade outs for the last couple of years, originally I was not really on board with all of them. Then I came to think, well, I do kind of get the longer fades, and the shorter ones are the ones that I find more objectionable, because it feels like, oh wait, did the studio just like turn down the mixer, like pulled the plug? But then here it felt almost like, hold on, I gotta wait till it ends, but I really want to talk about the track. So yeah, I always just have a weird interaction with fade outs, is I guess what I'm saying. But yeah, a cool end to a really compelling album. I am curious, knowing that there's not too much left in the run of the Police, how the final iteration or the final path that they took before they broke up will sound compared to this. So looking forward to it. Once again, shout out to Laurie as well as to Han Solo before Laurie, who started us on the Police journey in the beginning, and I will see you next time. Peace.